Yeah, yo, sometimes you gotta go to war for what you believe in. Sometimes you gotta go to war for what it is that you want, what you see that's right. I'm about to go to war, but lyrically. War cry, baby. Yeah. Hey yo, war cry echoes in the background. That's the sound of soldiers getting ripped up and tore down. Lyrically dismantle metaphors and manhandle. Marauder with
Peace, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Oppose My Will podcast. I'm your brother, your host, Ramone. With me, my other brother, my other host, Joe. We spinning the block right quick. Joe, how you feeling? How you doing?
You?
Say it again. I couldn't hear
Saying
you.
you,
Say
how
it.
you doing?
Absolutely.
What's up?
So this is a continuation from the last episode. We jumping right back in. Let's get to last Saturday's event, specifically the main event. We're gonna go straight to Saul Canelo Alvarez versus William Scar School, or however you pronounce it. Um, it's been an interesting weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Friday was extremely lackluster. Saturday, extremely lackluster. You
Yes.
know,
No other way to put it.
extremely lackluster. Um, can I start, man? Can I?
Oh yeah, kick that joint off.
Let me kick it off, man. First and foremost, as far as the Canelo Scar fight, I don't blame Canelo for how the fight went. Canelo was trying to engage him. Was trying to engage him. Um, but William just wasn't. He just wasn't there. He was just on his bike. And here's the interesting thing: watching him move, watching him throw shots, and watching his quick twitchiness and stuff like that, you could tell he actually got some skills.
Oh yeah.
Definitely was very quick, very, you know, but he just, for one reason or another, mentally he just didn't want to engage. He thought he could get in there and do a little something and then move around and do a little something. But I think he missed a little something, which was to, try to land shots. You know what I mean? It was just more like
Right.
survival mode, right? He came to survive. He didn't come to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the bag was probably the best bag he ever seen in his life. So he's like, all I got to do is survive, and I'm good. Not really, because these kind of performances do not make you desirable for other big fighters to want to fight, because they don't want that same kind of show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not a show that that's not that's like a stock drop show. For example, nobody's on here saying, damn, man, I want to see, but man, William Score, I'm gonna check out that next fight. No, they saying this dude was running around the entire time. I don't want to see him fight again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame Canelo. Um, Unfortunately, Canelo is extremely flat-footed. He doesn't necessarily cut off the ring like that. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things to be desired, but he shouldn't have to chase his opponent. So one, being defensively responsible and then just straight up running is two different things, two completely different things. So this is probably gonna be a short one for me, man. I don't have much to give. Canelo tried to give us a fight. He hit him with a couple of body shots, and
Exactly.
it didn't happen. Probably the easiest fight ever to score. Um, that's all I got, man. William Skull. Man, I don't think I want to see you again, brother. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sorry, bro.
You know what? You're 100% right. With this fight, it wasn't really much to say. Even though one of the judges was bogus, it was
Absolutely.
one close number. Like, yo, how he ran? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he had a couple good pop shots in there.
Sure.
Um, if you look at the CompuBox numbers, the numbers was close as far as landed and throwing, but it was like, yo, you ran.
Yeah.
Canelo literally walked you down the whole fight.
Yeah. Whole fight.
Then on top of that too, he had what 20. He was 23-0 prior.
No, he had
But
a great record. Yeah, really good record.
yeah,
Yeah.
good record. But when you look at who he fought,
Yeah.
You didn't really fight a lot of people of name within like your division that could really keep, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
give you that exposure that you really wanted. Like you said, this is probably the best payday that he had. Um, and I think he just wanted to avoid from looking back because even after the fight, you know, what I mean, it was almost like, hey, and Canelo was like, "Come on, man, like, got me coming way over here for this." You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like, come on, like, straight disappointed, and he, ha ha ha, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, didn't
Yeah.
nobody want to see that, man. But
No.
Canelo stuck it out. What I would say the best part of that fight was after the fight, seeing
Yeah.
the face
And the
off
bud.
between
Mhm.
him and Crawford.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Oh, real quick before we jump into that portion, this fight was super reminiscent um of Canelo Charlo.
Yes.
It was a survival mode, even though he was able to attack Charlo a bit more, dropped him, all that different stuff. But
Mhm.
it was definitely a survival mode kind of fight.
Yep.
Um, now getting into Bud, going over to going over to the Bud part. Um, Dope to see them officially announce it, even though we've known for quite some time that it was
Right.
either in the works or it was done or whatever the case may be. But we have an official date, which is September 12th. 12th, right?
Yes, September 12th, because my
Yeah,
niece is getting married
September
that day.
12th.
So
Yeah,
I
yes.
gotta figure something out.
September 12th in Vegas. It is not in Riyadh. That's another thing. You see that crowd? Wasn't nobody really there. Wasn't nobody
Yes.
really there. These doing these joints in Saudi Arabia. Well, I'll save that for another time. But it's in
Nah, nah,
Vegas.
nah. Talk about that. Talk about that
Okay.
because that
Well,
I think
okay.
that played a big part this whole weekend.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like New York City, you had the people who was able to get in to watch, and then everybody
right,
else was on the street watching that. Now,
right, right.
for Friday night, I did like the fact that they had the fans and stuff out there for the watch party.
Yeah,
But next time,
yeah,
don't do that in Times Square. Have it at the Garden, and then have the watch party in Times Square. So,
sure,
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? Your Excellency, if you hear this, take this from the Pose My Will podcast. Do it at the Garden, watch party, Times Square. But
Right,
for Saturday
right.
night, and I think I was talking to you, and I was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
do you notice the crowd is non-existent?
yeah,
You had a few people there, and they started to pack in towards the Canelo fight. But when
yeah.
you look at as they was walking down, all those seats around there, they was empty.
Hmm. It's empty. Very much so. Very much so.
Empty. You
Yeah,
can't. That makes it hard, I think, for the fighters, bro. I really do.
yeah, yeah. It makes it hard. So we know what Turkey Al-Sheikh is trying to do
Hmm.
in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, and building up that particular sector that he's over. This is his official job, right? Entertainment. Um, but in my opinion, boxing just ain't really the spot for Saudi Arabia, especially when your fan base is from other countries that are not really close to Saudi Arabia. So to get people to come out to these fights in Saudi Arabia, it is it's a difficult task and it's taxing. Long flights, expensive. All these different things you gotta. It's not the 5 hour flight from New York to Vegas or New York to California or New York to London.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The UK, still only a handful of hours. No, you're talking about long flights. You're talking about only in a certain a percentage of people who can actually comfortably take those flights. People like me and you know, we not just about to drop everything we doing. Oh, because I was fighting in Saudi Arabia. Let's go to Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
No, we could do that a little bit more. Like, yo, they getting ready to fight in Vegas. All right, I'm gonna set it up. We're gonna go out to Vegas. We're gonna do that. Way easier, right? So I get
Right.
what he's trying to do. Um, especially with having his own, I don't know what his league or organization or whatever is supposed to be, where he's going to turn around and put all of his energy and focus into that, building that up. Um, but I think he should focus his events more in the States than
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia because,
At least,
um,
if not the
yeah, go ahead.
states,
Mhm.
into familiar boxing communities. And
Sure.
even though Saudi Arabia had put on some good events, it's not a
Yeah,
familiar boxing community. When you
it's not.
look at them fighting in Wembley or somewhere in London or whatever, that's a familiar boxing community. New
Right.
York, familiar boxing community. Vegas, the boxing community. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
it's the atmosphere is different, and that plays a major part. But I get it. They wanted to test it, try it out.
Yeah.
It's not looking that successful. Um,
Nah, it's not
so
that good.
and some
Right.
of the numbers has kind of like proved that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe he knows something, At this point, I think Turkey is I think he's taking losses. I don't think he's really um making any money at this point. Especially when you look at the cards, the size of the cards, the purses, the payouts versus the returns, the pay-per-view buys, the buys in the stadiums and stuff like that. But again, maybe he's a businessman, and a lot of times you got to take a loss before you get gain. So,
Yeah.
maybe he knows something that we don't know.
Probably looking at the back
Um,
end with this TKO,
mm,
which getting back
yeah,
to the Bud Canelo
yeah.
fight, that fight will be considered a TKO broadcasting.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Mm,
that will be
mm,
the first TKO event, and it will be
mm.
promoted by Dana White, which is going to be interesting to see.
It is going to be interesting, and Dana and well, first and foremost, for those who may not know, or for those who just haven't really peaked it. We got to remember, first and foremost, Dana White was the one to have the relationship with Turkey before everybody else when they was doing Fight Island and Saudi Arabia during COVID,
Yeah,
and probably
COVID.
even
Yeah,
before that. But that's when I started to recognize it. So also, Bud has full access at the UFC training facilities where he actually utilizes those facilities. There's a state of art facility for training, and Bud has been there. He has a relationship with Dana White, and of course he's under the wing of Turkey right now. So it makes sense that now they're starting to pull all that stuff together. None of this stuff, by the way, is a surprise to Bud.
no,
There are conversations that are had way long ago that is now coming to fruition that Bud was a part of, right? None of this stuff is like, a big surprise to him. He's part of the business uh, plan at this moment.
yeah,
So just in case nobody, and I know a lot of our viewers are fight fans that also may dabble in UFC or not even dabble, just really into UFC and stuff like that. They might notice, but for any other fans that don't watch that stuff, these are relationships that were already there and already kind of, um, kind of cooking, for lack of better word. Um, so you saying you telling the people about it's going to be under TKO and all that, it makes total sense. It makes total sense because that's the move. That's the next move that Turkey and Dana and my man from WWE. This is the move that they've been planning to make.
right. And
Make
then
it with the biggest fight of the century. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's the way you
And
move.
did you see the Ring magazine belt? 100%
Yeah.
pure gold that
Yeah.
they
Beautiful.
gave to
Yeah.
Canelo, which they
Canelo.
had a second belt in there, which is, I
Yeah.
guess, the belt for them that they didn't
The
show.
winner. Right. It's for the winner of Bud and Canelo.
Yes.
The second ring belt. Um. So yeah, man. September 12th. That thing is going down, and you know, of course we're going to break it down a little too early to break it down, but we will give you a full detail. Let's move into the last fight of our 2 episode saga right now. The fight that saved the weekend.
Sunday.
Yes, a top rank fight at that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Honestly,
saying?
talking about that, I'm gonna just give kudos to Top Rank because that Sunday card, even though it
Yeah,
was probably unexpected for a lot of people who might not have been too familiar with some of the fighters,
yep,
that card
yep.
fights,
That
fire.
card.
Every one of them. Shout out to what was it, Randy Leon,
Yeah,
Cuban fighter. Great
yeah.
fight, amazing.
Good
But
fights.
you know what I'm
Good
saying?
fight.
I know Inoue is your guy, so
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
let you kick that off.
Well, listen, man. Like you said, anyways, is my guy. He's on my pound for pound list. Has been for quite some time. He fought. I would say relatively unknown fighter to fan. But people who don't consider themselves boxing fans, but more casuals. But nonetheless, he fought a hell of an opponent, really. And
Yeah.
I want to jump right into. I want to jump right into kind of the controversy, if you will, of him getting dropped.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, for anybody that watches Anyway, um, he always has his guard low. Um, Even when he's throwing the shots, he's throwing across. His guard is like down here. Sometimes even down here. It's never really up here, and that's
Yeah.
just because that's kind of every boxer has their shortcomings. That's one of his shortcomings. He got a very action packed style, and he got dropped. You know what I'm saying? It's plain and simple. But anyway, a lot like Bud has a very mean streak, and he get pissed off, and that's what happened in this fight. He got pissed off, and he let them hands go like nobody's business.
Yeah,
He
bro.
was chopping to the body, chopping to the top. I mean, he got mad. He loves that. He loves the competition. He's super competitive. He wants to fight against and his opponent was a very well-rounded uh combatant, man. He was a very
Yeah.
well-rounded combatant. Had a
Ramone
lot of pop.
Cardenas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. A lot of pop, and he performed so well that this loss is not really a loss. This loss is going to get him more fights and bigger bags because people really enjoyed his performance. They really enjoyed the fight that he brought to Inoue. I enjoyed it. I'm a fan now. I can't wait to see him again because he's gonna give a lot of people problems.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, Inoue gave us roller coaster ride kind of feelings during this fight, man, and closed out the show. So very very happy with him. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. Like you said, Inoue put on the show. Um, After that knockdown that he suffered from Ramon Cardenas, like
Cardenas,
you
yeah,
said, he locked in. And from if you've seen any of his previous fights, like when he fought, I forgot the last fight where he had got knocked down in, and
yeah, I remember that fight.
yeah, and he just bounced back like immediately, and he was the first to get knocked down or whatever,
Yeah,
and it was just like boom. But the onslaught attack that he has when he comes back, the volume is so vicious, bro. Like
yeah, yeah,
you would have thought like he was killing this dude. It was like, yo, do you stop this fight early? But
yeah,
he was just like, Ramon was just coming back, like, bah, 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 coming back with
yeah,
it. He hold the guard, and then the moment he had a chance, he had like
yeah,
a few nice counter punches or whatever that saying clipped, in a way like on the jaw or the body shots, but the body
yeah,
shots that he was taking and how Inoue was split his guard, his accuracy was just crazy. And the one
yeah,
thing that I noticed about Inoue is his focus on fundamentals.
yeah, yeah,
Outside of Bud, I don't know too many fighters who fundamentals is that solid. And
yeah,
that's dangerous. That makes you a very dangerous fighter, especially
yeah,
when your endurance and your metabolism allows you to hold your weight is easy as he was. Like you saw him pre-fight, he was eating a piece of cake, bro. Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean,
This is
like,
right.
who
By the
does that?
way, for people asking him to go up to another weight class, by the way,
Yeah,
he can't. He
no,
can't
he's
gain
not.
the weight. He can't put the weight on. That's why he's able to eat cake before a fight. Just like Tank is able to eat candy and cake. Metabolism is too fast. They don't gain the weight. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and just said pivoting off what you just said there, because I seen somebody mention something about him going to 130. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
it's not
happening.
happening. No,
At least no time soon.
no.
But by that
Yeah.
time, he may be done. But
Yeah.
for him, I don't know who I would like to see. I think I would like to see him fight Nick Ball next first.
That might be so. He's already verbally agreed to his next fight. They call MJ. I can't pronounce his name. Um,
Yeah, they did mention that.
I believe pronounce it. I forget, but that one is pretty much locked in. And then they were saying after that, the Nick Ball fight has been thrown around, but he said nothing has officially,
Yeah,
uh, been stated. But
I know
it looks
Shushu
like that's
called him out
definitely
too.
so.
Mhm.
Say it again.
So I know Shushu kind of want him to, but kind of calling him out.
Right, right. Yeah, Chushu. Yeah, there's some fights there for him. There
Mhm.
definitely is some fights there for him. So yeah, it's gonna be dope coming up, man.
Yeah,
Seeing what
but
he
I,
has
I
going.
kind of think I want to see him fight Nick Ball first. I like Nick Ball as a
Yeah,
fighter with the
yeah,
bombs, but at the same time, I would kind of like to see somebody fight Shushu as well. So
right.
yeah, I mean, probably Shushu and Ball probably end up happening first, and then
Mhm.
potentially maybe the winner of that. But like I said, it all depends on where they're looking at weight wise.
What's kind of cool was um Inoue was not really happy about this whole situation about fighting in Vegas, about fighting on a weekend with all these other, major names, major players and stuff like that because he thought that he was going to be kind of overlooked. But on the flip side, he actually saved the weekend. The weekend was kind of
Yes,
trash for the most part, and he put on the best performance. And this is what the
big reward for him.
undisputed, world champion is supposed to do. They show you why they are who they are, and he did just that, man. In my opinion, he did just that.
100%.
Yeah, man. Anything else that you got for this weekend, bro?
Uh, Now, what fights we got coming up next?
So, what do we got coming up next? We went through. It's been a lot. We had Bivol better be two. We seen Shakur. We seen a lot. I mean, we got Shakur Zapata is officially coming. Um,
Right.
but what do we got coming up? Like immediately? Let's see.
Oh
So
man,
according to the source right here, according to the
you
sources,
got
um,
Daenerys Perro coming up with
yeah,
Navarro.
Navarrete Suarez is May 10th. That's going to be a good one. Lubin is fighting. Lubin versus Holmes is fighting May 10th. So, Boachuk is coming up in May. Boachuk
Ooh.
left a great impression on me. Um, so not a whole lot of craziness, like huge fights, but there is some decent fights
Okay, yeah, Boa Chuck
coming
and
along.
Fox.
Say it again.
That's it. Yeah,
Oh,
you got
Hitchison
Boa
versus
Chuck and
Campbell.
Fox coming up.
Yeah, Truck and Fox. I think the biggest one for me is going to be Hitchison versus Cambosis.
Yes.
That's going to be a banger. That's going to be a banger. And then
Until next month, then we have a lot of big fights
yeah,
kicking off.
July is when it's gonna get good. You got if you're gonna watch it. I don't know if you're gonna watch Amanda Taylor Serrano. 3 is in July 11th, all female card, and then right after that, the weekend after that is gonna be Usyk versus Dubois 2.
Yes.
That one will be a banger.
June
That's gonna
7th,
be a
we
banger.
got Keyshawn Davis and Edwin Del Santo.
That's right on my birthday. That's right. That's right on
Yep.
my birthday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming up.
So yeah,
Coming up.
that'd
Yeah,
be
man.
good.
So Yeah,
And local,
there's
we got some local
Jamaican
stuff coming up too, bro.
Say it again.
We got some local stuff coming up too soon.
Yeah, yep. Got a couple of local amateur events coming up, which we'll talk more about those, for sure. Um, yeah, man. Yo, drop that link again for the merch.
Yes, everybody. Rock Jones, ROCK Jones .big cartel, BIGCARTEL.com. Rock Jones big cartel. Go get you a t-shirt, some hoodies. Um, we got the merch there for you guys. Gonna be more coming, some other things there for you too. But yeah, support. We need the support from you guys, so see us more often, man. We appreciate y'all for sticking with us. We're gonna be back with y'all with some more.
Absolutely. Holds My World podcast. We back, baby. Peace.